afternoon. It's my honor to welcome you to another edition of BW Education Thoughtful Tuesday. Today we are discussing the mechanisms to assess student progress towards job readiness and what is the role of technology and blended learning in that. Today we have a very star-studded power-packed panel to discuss that. We have leaders from the educational ecosystem who are shaping the careers of students. We have technology enablers that have become catalysts in that process. So let me first introduce everyone. Let's welcome Dr. D.N. Rao, who is the president of the Vignana Jyothi Society, Ms. Sasiprabha T, who is the Vice-Chancellor of the Satyabhama University, Dr. Rakesh Kumar Sharma, who is the Vice-Chancellor of the Saveetha Institute of Medical and Technical Sciences, Mr. Sriman Narayanan, Vice-Chancellor of the Vels University. We have Mr. Raghav Gupta of Coursera, and really, this is an absolutely star-studded panel. Let me welcome each one of you to this BW Education Thoughtful Tuesday. We also have Mr. Sasangan Ramanathan, who's the Dean at the University. We also have Dr. Dr. R.M. Suresh, who's again a Pro-Vice-Chancellor of an ecosystem that creates a lot of students. So let me get each one of them for their opening remarks, and then we'll do a discussion. Let me start with Dr. R.M. Suresh. Dr. Suresh, let me get you to give your opening comments on how can we make engineering students more employable, especially in a post-COVID scenario, and what is the role of technology and blended learning in it? Your 30 to 60 seconds opening remarks. Dr. Suresh.
Thank you very much for offering this kind of wonderful opportunity to meet and share my thoughts. I think as far as post-COVID is concerned, we already started this kind of scenario to educate our young minds who had come from different scenes, like from urban and from rural, and we have mediocre students as well. So urban students, we don't mind at the moment, but we mind mediocre and rural students. And we had a school of entrepreneurship which has been started recently, and we introduced a new concept called TOUGH. TOUGH in the sense it is TOF, Taste of Failure. We wanted to inaugurate this kind of it and open this idea to all the young minds that they should undergo a lot of entrepreneurship skills apart from their technical skill and their communication skill, as well as their soft skill as well. But this entrepreneurship would definitely pave them a way in such a way that taste number of failures as many as possible to equip themselves to fit into any kind of scenario. So that's our thought, and we introduced another new concept called DID. This is something not do it yourself. This is something like what is your desire, what is your interest, and accordingly what is your talent. So these two concepts like this and TOF, tough, we are introducing in such a way that this post-COVID situation will make all the young minds to get into a kind of skill-oriented, to kind of talent-oriented, to taste all kind of failures and make them come up apart from their failures. And these failures will teach them a lot of lessons. And what is India needed right now? I recently had a talk of Zuckerberg and our Ambani. What they had, India teach Zuckerberg to educate all the young minds on entrepreneurship. So we make the young minds come out of failures, and we encourage the young minds to come out with all kind of talents, and combining these two make all the people come out with more entrepreneurship skills and open the market here to have more young entrepreneurs.
Dr. Suresh. We'll come back to you. I request all of you to keep your opening comments less than 120 seconds so that we can have a discussion. Let me then bring in Dr. Rakesh Kumar Sharma. Dr. Sharma, your opening comments on how to make engineering students employable using technology and blended learning. You'll have to unmute yourself. Dr. Sharma, we are not able to hear you. You'll have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Viva. We all those within and in the field of education, we had accepted students, we had delayed graduation, we have shrinking jobs, vanishing career opportunities, and to say counter all this, what we need is to be industrial. We have to put our courses right, employability, in our teaching learning methodology, and we should impart skills, entrepreneurial skills, domain expertise, and super specialization. Change in job marketing profile also be compromise compensation. We are participating in this webinar. Thank you.
Thank you so much. As a somebody who leaves the university, what would also be interesting to know is how do you measure outcomes? How do you measure the impact of what you are doing? Dr. Suresh also talked about the fact that they're doing this. But I would like to ask you, Dr. Sharma, how are you able to measure the impact that you are going in this direction? Of course, the placements, the quality and quantity of placement is in some ways a barometer. But beyond that, how are the soft skills of these engineering students being kind of honed to be able to make them complete professionals?
If you ask me how we measure success, I keep parameters. First and foremost is attention. What we are fearing in post-COVID is any student will ask for withdrawal, either issues or because of some and all that. But we are happy instrument then ranking. Ranking during COVID, then event of placement, more than about 90% wins. Research output in terms of publication and high cutoff percentage in the admission. These 5 parameters, I think, in measuring success.
Thank you so much. Let me at this point bring in Mr. Sasangan Ramanathan, who is the Dean of the Amrita Vidyapeetham. As an educator, I think, the finished product and its application is equally important as the process of imparting learning. So give us a sense of how are you as a university, as an education institution, preparing employable engineering students?
Yeah,
Dr.
thank you.
Ramanathan?
And, can you hear? Yeah. I thank all the panelists for joining here and the BW for giving me an opportunity. I think everybody talks about getting students ready with outcome measures and all that. In reality, if you look at what are we going to look at in the 2040, it's not about next year or the year after. It's more like long term. It's man versus machine. Now, there are jobs that machines can do and you would never be able to replace. So the skill set that the students need to impart and actually acquire the things where human value, the human brain becomes all the more important. It's not about competing with machines. That requires a complete change in mindset of the students. They should be willing to do. What today humans are doing will be replaced by machines in the next 5 years. And what machines in 5 years will be. So the skill sets that we are looking at is not just looking at the short term, it's both short and long term. So the value added course, additional upskilling, and the mindset for these students to continuously learn and adapt are the key things that we impart. Fundamentals don't change. But how do you adapt to the dynamics of industry moving forward is an important aspect. And that mental resilience is the most challenging thing. The millennial kids and everything has come here. They have not been trained to go see. So that's an important aspect that people should look at. Curriculum. It's an inner personal development, a transformation that needs.
Absolutely. So
Annurag,
education should be a tool for that.
Sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to say that some of us are getting a lot of echo. I don't know if you're also hearing that, but on the chat as well, maybe somebody in the BW team can check what's happening.
Yeah, okay. I am not getting an echo. I'm getting an absolute perfect, Mr. Gupta. I'm getting perfect noise, perfect voice. I'm not getting an echo. So, but I possibly, when you're not speaking, if you can put on mute, then possibly some of it can be minimized, right?
Yeah, I think we're still getting comments in the chat, so maybe someone in your team could check.
Looks like somebody's got two devices. That's what it is.
Yes. So at this point, let me get in Sri S. Sriman Narayanan, who's the Vice-Chancellor of the Vels University, to give his opening comments on what he as a leader is doing and what his university is doing to make engineering students future ready and more employable. Mr. S. Sriman Narayanan, can we hear you? Mr. Sriman Narayanan? I can hear, we don't have him, so we had him. Seems like we lost him. Let me bring in, now, industry credentials are emerging as the new kind of emerging trend in modern education and might take some time to make it a specific skill set or industry or even a company. Will the LEP extensively focus on future job skills and measuring learning outcomes? What top recommendations do you have as leaders to blend curriculum and industry-focused learning? I'm sure recruiters would love to hear your thoughts there. Let me bring in first Dr. D.N. Rao, who is the president of the Vignana Jyothi Society in Telangana. Dr. Rao, first you, and then I'll bring in Mr. Raghav of Coursera. Dr. D.N. Rao. Dr. D.N. Rao? Dr. D.N. Rao, can you hear me? Raghav, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear
Raghav, can you hear me?
It seems like he might have got disconnected. Dr. Rao seems to have got disconnected.
Yes, okay. So, Raghav, let me bring you in because I saw all of them were logged in. Let me bring you in. How do you see their kind of shaping up to be able to bridge this gap between what they do and what the industry needs, and they do curriculums which are focused towards a certain industry, certain sector, certain skill, and maybe even a certain company. So what are the universities and education?
Sure, thanks. So before we talk about what should be done about student job readiness, especially with a focus on engineering, maybe we should spend a moment just talking about what's happening in industry before that. And, from our perspective as Coursera, we work with quite a few industries out there. And I would say that we are seeing in industry what is being called a double disruption that is happening currently. This double disruption has two pieces. One is automation, which was already happening even before COVID. And the second piece is COVID. And as a result of automation and COVID coming together, many jobs are getting displaced. The kind of skills that industry is asking for are changing even faster than they were changing earlier. And many companies are saying, given that we're all working from home, our businesses need to be more digital, they need to be more data oriented. And then the last thing that I would say we are seeing is many companies are saying that even when COVID goes away, vaccines are here, all of us have got the vaccine and so on. A large chunk of workforce will still continue to work from home because many companies have realized that it is perfectly possible for you to have workers that work from home. And so automation and COVID are significantly changing how industry will function in the future. And I think for higher education to think about preparing students for this new industry and this new world of the future, I think we need firstly an appreciation that industry has changed. Secondly, I do think we need, the fundamental which Sasangan spoke about as well. We need high quality education. And third, I think we need all of the new technologies, the new skills that the new world needs, whether those be around artificial intelligence or data or digital or virtual work. We need to figure out ways to be able to bring to students in higher education as well. And I'll pause with that and hand back to you, Annurag.
For bringing in the perspective that you brought in, you're right. If the industry are changing because they're themselves changing, we as educational institutes will have to keep pace with it. Let me bring in Dr. Rao in, and Dr. Rao, your comments. I do this for a living every day. This is the first time this has happened to me. I can't figure out why it's happening, but if Dr. Rao, you can hear me, enjoy. So let me bring in Ms. Sasiprabha T, who's the Vice-Chancellor of Satyabhama University. Ms. Sasiprabha T, what are your...
Yes. So good afternoon. Good afternoon to the organizers, my co-panelists, and my dear participants. So it's an interesting topic we are discussing today. So how the technologies are useful for students' better employability post-COVID. It's a really interesting one. So as far as ours is concerned, so as usual, we are giving the training right from the first year of the students to make them employable. So what we do now, in the first year, immediately after their joining, we collect data from students, their interest. So whether they are really interested for placement, or they are interested for higher studies, or entrepreneurs. So like that, we used to do the survey among our newcomers every year. And the second year also, we used to once again reconfirm. And at the end of third year, we affirm that the student list, we prepare the final list that the students who are interested for placement and students who are interested for higher studies and for entrepreneurs. So this year by year collections will keep us to get the confirmed list who are interested for so and so different 3 directions. So in that way, we do the training from the first year onwards. So as you told, the soft skills we are giving, aptitude training we are giving, technical training also we are giving. And we do find out, based on the training and periodic assessment, we find out the students who are lacking, say for example, students who are coming from rural area. So those students needs more kind of soft skills and communication skills training. So those students will be identified and further training will be given to them in order to equip them to get them placed. Or if they're interested for higher studies, we have a separate cell for carrying out the advanced degree of higher studies. They'll take care of the higher studies training. And then entrepreneurs, we have incubators, and through the incubators, periodically we are conducting so many kind of training sessions, how to get the incubator. We have our own in Satyabhama Technology Business Incubator and MSME Business Incubator. Through them, we are giving a training and how to protect their intellectual properties. So all these things we are giving them proper training in such a way that they can able to choose the right direction. So in our institutions, as we are telling about the post-COVID. So here this year, though the COVID is there and students are not in the campus, we conducted this placement training successfully. And out of our registered students for placement, no. So from that list, this year 62% of the students have already been placed in the day one. So day one we had 3 companies. So the 3 companies, 62% of students already got offer. So single offer, double offer, and triple offer they have got it. And so there are a lot of companies yet to come. There are around 200 plus company every year they used to visit the institution, and there are dream companies. So those things we are actually moving far with the support of the technologies. So I hope even post-COVID, the use of available technologies, we can able to train the students, and we can conduct the campus interviews, and we can able to give the proper outcome to the students. And as far as this, you told how you have measured the outcome. This is measured, the placement outcomes are measured based on the number, the percentage of students placed, and the percentage of the dream companies who have come out, and percentage of students placed the highest average package. So last year our highest average package is 41 lakhs. So this year we are actually aiming more than that. So we are actually, it is in process, that things are going on place. And last week only we announced the day one announcement. So 62% students are placed already. So this is how Satyabhama we are progressing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking us through, how you've done it and showcasing the outcome. We have Dr. S. Sriman Narayanan, who's joined back, and his audio is working. We'd love your comments, opening comments on how you're bridging this gap, what the industry needs, and how you're making them industry ready.
Sir, good afternoon to all of you, and thank you for giving me an opportunity. Sir, am I audible? Thank you. Sir, basically, we are not playing in an even field, because you find that the students' merit, they are different from different institutions. So all the institutions cannot adopt the same methodology for placing these students in the suitable jobs, because some of the institutions, they have the creamy layers, and you will find all the people will get placement through campus placement. And there are certain institutions where even some of the companies refuse to visit there, stating that their students are not up to the mark. So eventually we are playing in an uneven field. So anyhow, even whatever type of students we get, we have to improve them so that they get a better life or better placement. So basically there are two things. One is we have to make them an expert in the subject chosen by them. Sometimes even if they are good at their subject, they will not be able to express, even for some questions they will not be able to answer. So basically, below average students, they require this spoken English and the personality development. That is a very must for the students who are seeking some good job. So when we come to this subject, then you can classify them as slow learners or fast learners. Even when we categorize them for slow learners, we give them some remedial classes so that they come up to the mark of the expectation. And for the higher end students, we suggest them to go for some advanced courses available in online, like NPTEL or Coursera and other things, so they can improve themselves. So coming to the gap between what the industry is expecting and what is delivered in the institutions. See, actually, there is a myth that the curriculums or the syllabus or something like outdated, and it is not up to the mark of the expectations of the industries. See, it is not the case. See, the educational institutions, then and there, they are updating their syllabus. For example, in computer science, some 20 years back, you could have seen that the languages that were taught were only the basics, Fortran and COBOL, and nowadays you won't find those languages in computer science. So now they start with the Java, something like that. So that means the curriculum is always advanced, but still you say that you find a gap between the industry and the curriculum. That is because the industry have a special requirement, and those requirements cannot be given to all the students. See, we give the students the basic knowledge. For example, if it is a mechanical engineering, we give all the basic knowledge in mechanical engineering. If some of the company is interested in a particular thing, that there is a gap between what they expect and what is being taught in the universities, then naturally what we suggest to the industries, okay, you collaborate with an institution. Okay, this is my requirement and this is your curriculum. So this much is the gap. We will combine with you. We will send our experts to our institution. So we will have a sort of collaborative program, but that is not going to be in hundreds or 200s. It is going to be for a class or something like 60 students, where they can be accommodated after completing the course to the particular industry. So there are so many institutions, so many colleges are there. So the industries, wherever they feel that there is a gap between their expectation and the standard of the universities and colleges, we should come together and reduce the gap. Only that could be the way. We cannot change the whole syllabus for the requirement of a particular company Otherwise, because they will not be fit anywhere. So this
Got
should,
it.
yeah,
Thank
these
you
are
so
my
much.
things are. Thank you.
I think we'll come back quickly to you, but let me bring in Dr. D.N. Rao, who's not made a comment. Dr. D.N. Rao, your opening comments on how you are creating the university of the future and how you're bridging this gap.
Okay. Good evening to all of you. I think at Vignana Jyothi, we are probably a little bit old-fashioned in training the people and in our aspirations. We believe every student that joins us has a capability and they can reach to the top. With that, we have done a lot of it to common program, but some of it to individual program. And it is spread over all the 4 years. First, when the student comes to the institution on the first day, we realize that he has a lot of dreams, but no practical sense. So with that background, we take him as an aspiring engineer without any details of the career. So we take a lot of help from the industry and a lot of help from the online, especially TED.com. We give them an opportunity to know, look here, if you're an electronic engineer, this is an opportunity for you at this point in time. This is the research, this is this, this is this. So we give them a spectrum of activities, what they can do once they complete these 4 years. That we call it as a career vision program. We provide them a vision saying that at the end of your the things that you can do and prepare yourself for that. And the second year, which we find it is very, very effective, is we call it as a shadow engineering program. We send them to an industry and they shadow one of the practicing engineers there. What he is doing, he shadows them for 8 hours a day and gains the knowledge. You will be surprised to know the choice of our industry, of the industry that we have chosen for shadow engineering. We have chosen a cement industry 200 kilometers away from Hyderabad. And a cross section of students will go. 60 students will go at any point in time for 1 week. A mix of all computers, IT, electronics, civil, mechanical, all cross of them. In fact, one parent came and told me, my son is going to be a computer engineer. What is the necessity for him to go to the cement factory? And then once they go there, they appreciate how computers are used in industry, how a screen is designed to simulate a process, and how an IT engineer, the logistics of transferring the cement that is produced in a remote village to an upper part of Assam, what are the logistics that are involved? And say an electrical engineer who has never seen a motor other than the water pump, okay, he would see the sizes of various motors that are actually existing in a cement industry. Once they come back, they're different. They appreciate the cross-domain, how each department can help the others, and what it makes. It takes the role of various departments to make a project successful. That is our second year project where they shadow somebody. And our third year program is known as mirror engineering. All of us, when we were young, especially in Andhra Pradesh, so for example, when we were young, all of us used to look at in the mirror and say, I'm N.T. Ramarao. Okay. We used to hold aspirations sitting in front of the mirror. Similarly, we put them here next to a practicing engineer for almost a month, take a project, a small project, a bit of the project, and execute that project on the similar lines as the practicing engineer is doing it. So we call that as mirror engineering. This is for a month. Then obviously the final year, we give him a project, but there is a clause to it. The project that he has chosen must have a societal impact. he must clearly say, this project I have chosen because in the society, this will be helpful like this. And after doing this project, he has to present it. We have a corner known as show and tell. Show and tell. He has to present the project to lots of people, take a picture, in fact, and put it in his thesis and how it impacts the issue. So that is the project engineering part of it. Then obviously, when all of this is done, when the person says, I have worked in cement industry and I have appreciated the screen design of a silo, how it is designed, the flow of materials and other things, all of it on a screen, I think every engineer is useful. And we find it no problem. Of course, the technologies like the current technologies and how they apply, where they apply, okay, they are all familiar with when they are doing this practice. And finally, we have what is known as a MTP, mentoring, training, and placement. Volume, he has to fill from day one, he has to fill that record. MTP, mentoring, training, and placement. And he
Thank you so much. Thank you, Dr. Rao.
At the time of his interview. And he gets
Thank you so much. Raghav, you heard all these education leaders. You heard everyone now, what do you think in your own, you interact with a humongous number of educational institutions of all shapes, sizes. What is your sense of what's happening? What are the universities doing right and what can they do better?
Absolutely. And I was taking notes as I was listening to the panelists speak as well. And I think a lot of good points that were shared resonate with me as well. And, particularly what Dr. D.N. Rao spoke towards the end, even at Coursera, our belief is that talent is equally distributed around the world and around the country. It is opportunities that are not equally distributed. And if we can provide high quality, job relevant education to an individual, the chances that they will shine are extremely bright. Even from what we've been hearing, I think the relevance of high quality education, which always has been a challenge for us in India, even in a post-COVID world with this new industry readiness that we are talking about, high quality education will continue to play a role, whether that is on technical skills or whether that is on soft skills, like we've heard from, I think, some of the education leaders as well. We increasingly see that job relevant education is going to play a wide role as well, given the kind of skills that industry is asking for are changing. And also, along with knowledge, hands-on learning is also going to be important. So, can you learn the theory, but also can you apply it in practice as well? And if I think about hands-on job relevant, if I go through my list again, so high quality learning, making it job relevant, and doing a combination of knowledge and hands-on learning is kind of the approach that we've been thinking about as well at Coursera. And I think we are seeing a fundamental shift in how higher education is being delivered in the country. So far, we've seen universities, colleges largely focus on providing education to their students by their own faculty and then a little bit of industry interaction as well. I think we're moving to a stage where a university or a college is going to say, I will provide maybe some fundamental education, maybe 60-70% of the education myself via my faculty. And then possibly the balance 20-30% is going to come from platforms which are external to me. So Coursera, where I can bring content from the world's top universities and companies and make that available to my students. And we will see a lot bigger focus on hands-on learning as well. And Annurag, the reason I say this is because I have data to back this up. So in the period of March to September, we made Coursera for Campus platform available for free to all universities and colleges in the country. In February, there were 30 institutions using the platform. And today there are 3,700 institutions using the platform. And in this period, we've seen 24 lakh students in colleges and universities take 2.1 crore courses on the platform. And the reason we've seen this level of high adoption is because this is learning which is high quality, it is job relevant, and it is a combination of knowledge and hands-on learning. And I think that's probably the kind of developments that we might see moving forward in the higher education space as well.
so much, Raghav. Let me bring all of you in again. Let me start with Professor. You heard all other colleagues, peers talking about what they are doing. Now, if you had to predict the future in 2021 and beyond, say 2022, what are the top 3 changes that you see happening so that this bridge between what the industry needs and what educational institutions are creating gets bridged and it's a perfect match? Dr. Ramanathan?
Sorry, we couldn't hear you properly. Was it addressed to me?
Yes, Dr. Ramanathan, I said, what are the top 3 predictions you have for the future in terms of this, gap between what the industry needs and the future-ready professionals that you prepare?
Okay. So, I think Mr. Raghav pointed out this gap between the industry-academia interaction. I think one of the key and most important thing for any university to engage in moving forward is this mobility of students, mobility of faculty between industries, between academia. Now it's going to be global. We're actually going to see a more globalization because now, if I just took the example of Mr. Raghav, he doesn't need to hire people from India. He can hire experts from anywhere across the world because we're all connected. So the students and all our young kids should understand that the competition is not with the next door neighbor, it's not across the street, it's more global. That means you have to be equipped with the kind of skills that you need to compete globally. Now, that's where this mobility comes in important. The students should have the exposure of learning outside India, learning within India, and walking the walk with the industry people. Now, that's one part of it. Now, if you don't have your faculty also do that, they wouldn't know exactly how to tweak the changes that we need in our curriculum and the pedagogy. It's not just printed matter, it's how you deliver. That becomes important. Now, the delivery, now you looked at how, the Coursera platform, all the educational online platforms have changed. Now, the best part I like about it is students and kids who thought everything has to be pushed to them now are seeking. That's the transformation we need. And Raghav pointed out about 60% of the faculty teaching material. Now I'm saying, don't give them information that's available in Google. If you're spending as a faculty time in the classroom and actually writing down what I can Google in a minute, you're wasting both the time, both the students' time and your time. You must be giving them how to connect the dots with the information they have. That is more important. And how do I connect the dot and why should I connect the dot? I'm actually going to solve a problem with all this information. What sort of problems are you going to solve? Now, if you teach them step by step through the 4 years, on top of the soft skills and all that, because communication is extremely important. But if you do this, what you've got is a group of confident young folks. You don't want to walk anywhere with lack of confidence. Now you can prepare that army of people, you can compete globally. So this is where the educational institution should start changing the way they think. We should act more like mentors and not shoving things down their throat. The interest should come from within the students. And that's why, at Amrita, we don't have to worry so much about placements, not because we don't make the effort. Everything is done. But the fundamental change you see in the students is their attitude. And that aspect doesn't come from just, looking at a screen. It comes from interacting with faculty who show them how to do things. It's learning through observation. And that's what we do. And that's what we should be looking at moving forward.
Thank you so much for giving your view. Let me bring in Dr. Rakesh Kumar Sharma. Dr. Sharma, what are your top 3 predictions for the future? There are a lot of things that you did this year what will you do in 2021? You'll have to unmute yourself, sir.
Thank you.
We still...
We're talking about student to practitioner. See, if student to practitioner is imbibed in the studies itself, like you design a curriculum wherein industrial input are taken care, and then design a system, first of all, the teaching in the classroom, small group. We have got a table on which only 5 students are sitting at one single time. Then they have got more interaction. Then teaching and learning method. We are going for a very innovative learning where students make the videos. We just teach them for 10 minutes and then they come out with the videos. We have competition among them and the best video is awarded then and there. We call it 85 competitions. And similarly, clinical. So clinical is something which cannot be done online, or engineering practicals, what you call, cannot be done online 100%. So we have to have face-to-face interactions. And therein we are using technology a lot. Like if I give you one single example, in our dental, what we are doing is we are involving 3D printing for making dentures. We are involving artificial intelligence, robotics directly in the dental practices. Like transdisciplinary research, our students are getting taught by the different faculty from the different college. We have got 14 colleges, and this transdisciplinary research, transdisciplinary interaction, transdisciplinary faculty exchange, everybody has got a different perception. When an engineer comes and teach in a dental college, he learns a lot, he teaches a lot. And then I think these type of things has to, I'm seeing that this will become a regular input, and even industry will give you certain credits, which we can say a small credit system to cater the needs of the industry we can introduce in our system. So these 2-3 things, I think blended learning has to be there, of course, because now online learning is what we have done in the last about 9-10 months in a big way. We have been doing it earlier also, but online learning is not the solution. Finally, we have seen in this webinar also, there are a lot of technical hitches. Sometimes somebody is getting off the screen and sometimes voice service is there. So there is no replacement to face-to-face teaching. So we have to have a blend of both. Wherever online can be done, it should be done. Then we go for media type of learning. Multiple interactive logarithm we involve. So all these things are something which will become a practice in future. It will not be a simple classroom teaching. Already it has changed a lot in last about 9 months or 10 months. COVID has taught us many lessons, and we have learned how to keep interest, how to see that students are not turning up in webinar and then they are screening, this video is put off, and then we think that they are listening, but they are not listening. So we keep them engaged. So that is also a big challenge. So all these things I think will be happening in the future. All these 3 things which I have told. Thank you.
I think whether it's a Coursera or other educational technology platform, I don't think anybody is saying it will not be mixed. It will be a hybrid model. There is a role for the traditional face-to-face student, faculty interaction. There is life learnings that come by being on the campus. I don't think that's going to change. But a lot of technology immersion will happen, and a lot of industry-ready content along with that technology will come to the students. Dr. T. Sasiprabha, what are your top 3 predictions for the future?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so as the other speakers mentioned, skilling can be improved. See, based on the students' interest and based on the collaborations of the institutions of the industries, they can improve the skilling part of the students. Say, we have to find out. There's an echo, sir. There's an echo in. Okay. Yeah. Say, for example, see, artificial intelligence is playing a huge role. Every field, irrespective of the discipline, irrespective of the field, irrespective of the discipline or a degree program, so AI is playing a huge role. So, but learning AI is with a little max background, anybody can learn AI algorithms. So not only the computer science engineer, any engineering student who have got understanding on machine learning and then mathematics, they can able to easily learn. So in that aspect, so we can able to impart these type of emerging technologies for, we have to see the next 10 years, next decade, what is the skill requirement that we need to understand. The institute or the head of the institutions that is concerned need to understand the skill what is required for the next few decades. That needs to be imparted to the students so that in future, so these people can able to fill the gap in the industry. So that's my perception, sir. And as you told, so the top 3 gaps in the employability, and so that skill in India is concerned, the gap between the industry and academies. So though we are telling about we have a good interaction with the industries, so still in India, the gap from between the industry and institutions is always there. So we the institutions are inviting the industries to set up their incubation centers or set up their research laboratory within the institutions, so that they can able to get the manpower easily they can get the manpower, because we have the faculty members, we have the huge talented resources are there. They can make use of those things and they can able to easily carry out their operations inside the premises. That every institution, see, in Satyabhama is concerned, we are inviting industries to come and set up their laboratories inside the institution. Like that, almost all institutions used to expect, and they are inviting the industries. That culture needs to be enhanced in India. Then this gap between the industries and the institutions can be easily resolved. Otherwise, we are talking in various forums about the gap between the industries and institutions. That is there in decades. It is there. At least for the next decades, if you want to balance the gap between the industry and the institutions, it can be easily filled by, because industry has to come forward to set up their centers in institutions. So that culture, if we can able to improve, then sure we can able to reduce the gap between the industries and the institutions. Okay, that's my perceptions.
Thank you so much. Let me bring in Dr. S. Sriman Narayanan again.
Thank you, sir.
You heard your colleague. You heard an industry leader, who works with all educational institutions in Raghav. What is your view on what will happen in 2020? Mr. Sriman Narayanan?
Yeah. Am I audible, sir? Yeah. Okay.
Yes,
sir.
You are very clear. So 2022, then what do you see happening?
Sir, I'm not sure that I have heard whatever.
You are very audible, Mr. Sriman Narayanan.
Yeah. Okay. Then I will go ahead.
We can hear you.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Regarding this industry institution interaction, whenever any accrediting agency is visiting any institution, what they are asking is how many collaboration you have with the industries. But if there is an inspection in an industry, for an industry, I'm not sure whether the evaluators ask the industry people with how many institutions you have collaboration. So it is an one-sided effort and affair to bring the industry into the institution. So what I suggest, the industries should come forward to take or to initiate collaboration with the educational institutions, because after all, the institutions are the supplying what is needed for the industries. Similarly, even the accrediting agencies ask whether you have brought any industry people to teach your students. So when they come and teach, instead of that, even the industries can take some of the faculty members who are working in the institution, give them job in their industry for 6 to 1 year, and when they come back, and they are going to impart the knowledge of the industry to the students. So it is going to be in number of times. It reaches so many people. So unless we bring in a strong interaction between the industry and the institutions, and the gap will exist forever. For example, in some of the Western countries, you may find some of the professors in the universities will be the vice president of that company. So that means they know what they need for their industry, and accordingly they will change their curriculum. So therefore, for making the job easier for all the students in post-COVID, there should be a strong interaction between the industry and the institution, and industry should come forward to nurture this collaboration with institutions.
Thank you so much. Let me bring in, we started with you, Mr. Dr. R.M. Suresh. Dr. Suresh, what are your three predictions for 2021 and beyond? Dr. R.M. Suresh?
Yeah. After hearing all of you, I got to know some of the points which I've noted. Of course, a couple of things which I wanted to prescribe for 2021, what we practice right now at Bharat Institute of Higher Education and Research. We have three entities. One entity is my placement cell, other entity is my management director, and third entity is entrepreneurs, that is companies. Now, I make the student who is coming in day one, I give him prescription of employability. Based, as I told already, DIT, desire, interest, and talent. Based on this, I am giving him a prescription of employability. Now, he interacts with my director management, he interacts with placement director, and he interacts with the company. Now, he makes a corrections in the prescription what we gave. And second one, after interaction with the company, now he designs his curriculum. What exactly he requires to fit in himself into the company. So when he designs a curriculum, he has lot of avenues apart from my curriculum, what I prescribe in my university. There is a Coursera, there is an NPTEL, there is a Swayam, there is a MOOC. He opens all the era for the matter and he interacts with all the people together. Now he sets up a dashboard. So my second point is that when he sets up his dashboard, he enrolls his score now and then. What is his score? What is his skill? What is the expectation of the industry? And how he trained, having interact with my management director, Dr. Praveen, and my placement director, Dr. Gokul. And with this, when he sets up his dashboard, his score is kept on increasing, and he now decides, oh, this is my stream where I should fit into this industry, and let me go enjoy mine. And he decides his curriculum. And for his curriculum, I don't have to set anything. I don't have to depend. He not even depend my university curriculum. He goes on around all the places of the world. He interacts with placement. He interacts with a company. He interacts with the world professors who is there at Wisconsin, is there at Mississippi, is there at Mexico, is there at New Zealand, is there at Australia. So where his curriculum, his career is completely world defined. This is the second point. And third point, this is gamification. The world is gamification. And the boy who comes from the rural end is play with a lot of games, mobile games. He doesn't know anything. And he is always like to play game more than the curriculum what I set. So when he plays game, I want to teach him with his own interest. Track him to his interest, and based on his interest, based on his gamification, I educate him in such a way that towards his gamification, his career is also designed. Not only 2021, 2022, 24, 25, all that is going to be set for India. I'm sure the young guys who is coming from rural end, I can bend him to any extent. And though his mind is set for the game, and I can make his career also designed as good as a game and make his success. And he will interact definitely the best part as far as Bharat is concerned. And Bharat is going to be a curriculum, and Bharat will set with my placement officer, management director, as well as the company. We are going to make a kind of pool of entrepreneurs. And this entrepreneurial skill, if he turned to be an entrepreneur tomorrow, what are the skills that he expects from a budding engineer? And that he sets on his own, and he comes up with himself. This is what is the idea, and this will definitely pacify all the gap. The company is coming forward definitely towards it when a guy comes and interacts with them. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Suresh.
Thank you.
Got it. Thank you so much. Raghav, you heard everyone. They made their points. Is there a playbook that possibly you want for Space Future Ready? Is there a playbook given to each of these education?
Sorry, could I request you to say that again?
Raghav, can you hear me?
You were cutting out. Annurag.
Yeah, okay, Raghav, I was saying, is there a playbook that Coursera or you have to be able to share with these education leaders for them to achieve what they are saying as they go forward in a I would say e-Gurukul, using Dr. Suresh's language?
Sure. So I think a lot of work has actually been done on some of the points that we are talking about today. A clear understanding of what are the future skills that the industry is asking for is available. It's not a black box anymore. Also, how to get industry and academic collaboration to happen in a meaningful way is also working, and it's available. I think it's helpful to keep in mind that, industry has a lot on their own plate. They are running their businesses, and they don't often have the time to be able to engage with academia the way one might want to. And that's always a challenge. And so I think we've been working a lot on that as well. And then I think we're seeing what I think a number of speakers and academic leaders spoke about as well, that the ability to embed a platform like Coursera into their campus to be able to use it for credit. We've seen many institutions do that quite successfully as well. And this whole change in approach of saying that yesterday we were only teaching our students with content from our own faculty, but tomorrow we will teach our students with our faculty from other universities and from companies as well. I think that is starting to get understood fairly well. And we are starting to see some good results coming out as well. So I was talking to the chancellors of one of the universities in Andhra Pradesh, and they've seen that both enrollments and placements have looked very good this year. And there's a strong appreciation for the quality of placements that have happened as well in an environment which is in general are going to be a tough placement market. So I would say a template is emerging, which is, something that we are learning from. And my sense is that this period will see us maybe in the next 1 year, maybe in the next 2 years, we will see the good quality higher education institutions starting to differentiate from the average quality higher education institutions even more, because I think this is where the gap will increase as well.
Thank you so much. I'm sorry, Mr. Batra she's facing some connectivity issues. My name is Rohail. I am Senior Editor with BW Businessworld. Till Mr. Batra comes back, I want to continue the discussion. And my next question is to Mr. Rao. If Mr. Rao can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So my question is that, as we move on as we have also spoken, the role of technology will play a very, very significant role as far as universities are concerned to prepare students for readiness. Tell me, will you consider, to adopt the right framework how do you decide on the right framework of technology to ensure, that students get the maximum out of that?
I think that's a very important question. First thing is, I will compliment Mr. Sriman Narayanan for his remark. that most faculty members are not aware of the applications that their teaching can be applied to.
Right.
And with this background, and these days it is important, what you learn, you have to implement. With this background, we have a program, what is known as vertical literacy. At the universities and institutions, what we do today is teaching at a horizontal level.
True.
And what is necessary is during the horizontal level, you have to go at one point, a vertical, this one of the application.
Right.
Of what you're learning, what you're hearing. That is the most important.
Right.
COVID, the new technologies, for example, Internet of Things, just the application of it in transportation of vaccines, in measurement of temperatures, in measurement of on the locations, distribution points, etc. The application of Internet of Things is phenomenal. Unless we go to that vertical level of applying this knowledge, our students will not be able to gain employment. With that background, a few years ago, we started what is known as a Wit and Will program, which was highly successful. Wit and Will meaning the faculty member, once he enters into the classroom, for the first 4 or 5 minutes, he or she has to teach. Why is she teaching what she's teaching? Where is it applied? That is the vertical point of it, of the lecture. And at the end of the lecture, the student has to acknowledge, Will, why am I learning what I am learning? And it's so heartening to note that the students gives different examples. They get excited about why they are learning and what are the application areas, etc., etc. So when they go for interview and talk about these applications in the practical terms, it's only, they can only increase the offer and confirming the offer at the earliest. I think that is what is important. This COVID is providing a lot of opportunities. At the end of it, one more point that I would like to make is, what did this COVID do? It didn't, it did one thing. What is supposed to happen 10 years later is happening now. It accelerated the change at every level. Technology level, societal level. At the technology level, as I said, the examples, it opens up many avenues. And at the societal level, it has thrown up what are the difficulties in our society, the disparities, all those things. It has shown up much earlier than what it would have been. I think that the strong point of COVID, and all our education, as educationalists, must capitalize on this accelerated change. This
Thank you.
Learning would have come 10 years later, but it has come now because of COVID. It accelerated the process. That's my summary.
Great, thank you. Mr. Ramanathan, your quick thoughts on this. How can technology play a role in preparing university students to prepare for, become job ready?
Yeah. I think this COVID situation has helped us accelerate adoption of technology. People reluctant are now on board, and I think most of the universities have found a way to adopt it. I think the technology will change the way we teach. The pedagogy will change. And we will see more and more of blended learning, more offline and online combination, and use the time efficiently. I think if I have to make one point here, we're talking about getting students ready for their first job. If you were to look at 10 years, 20, 15 years from now, none of these kids would be in their first job forever. Those days are gone. We're looking at, people changing jobs maybe once in 4 or 5 years. That's sort of an average I've seen in data that I've seen. Now that may change and it may become more frequent because with a lot of the globalization, you probably would have lesser permanent contract and project-based employees. So one may have to multitask on multiple projects. And none of us even talked about time management, which every one of us in this panel sitting here understand that's the most difficult thing.
True.
And moving forward, time management will also become important. So, blended learning, technology adoption, and getting the students to train them to learn on their own. It should be more of self-driven. These are the things that we would see as a sea of change in the next 5 years. And then it will become a norm as we move forward into the next decade.
Great. Thank you so much. And now, in the limited time, we have, I think, 5 to 7 minutes left. And I want to come to all of our panelists for closing remarks. We have all heard each other and we have all had some wonderful discussions. So I want to have first the closing remarks from Mr. Gupta. Sir, can we have some quick thoughts on what has been discussed today and your final thoughts?
Yeah, I would add 2 points, and I would add to what Sasangan said as well. One, I think in the industry, a combination of work from home and online learning is opening up new opportunities. As an anecdote, I have a cousin who recently got a job offer with a leading bank in Singapore, and this person is based in India. And the reason he got that job offer, he doesn't have to worry about a work visa either, because he can continue to be based in India but can work with this bank in Singapore, is because it's going to be work from home. So I think we will see a lot more exciting opportunities opening up for students who are currently in higher education. But I think for students to kind of capture that opportunity, what I've been mentioning earlier, which is them receiving high quality education, job relevant education, and receiving a combination of knowledge and hands-on learning is going to be.
Mr. Narayanan, your thoughts, what is going to define this space, the mechanisms, your quick thoughts, the final thoughts on this? Okay, I'll come to Mr. Sharma if Mr. Sharma can hear me.
Sorry, can I join now? Can I say?
Yeah, please go on. Yes.
Sorry. See, whatever the technology that we have, the basic thing that we should have in our mind is ignite the minds of the students. Because even in this pandemic situation, they have learned to live. So therefore, they will survive any type of difficult situations. So again, I would just tell that we have to teach these people as what Bernard Shaw was expecting. Don't look at things around and ask the question, why not? If we are going to ignite that, they will learn any type of technology that is available. And even because we want to change the India as make in India. So therefore, this more than the job, or equally, the entrepreneurship should be developed in all the institutions for a better India. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. And Miss Sasiprabha, if I can have your thoughts on this, please.
Yes, sir. So now this post-pandemic is concerned. So all institutions needs to invest on the IT infrastructure. So rather than setting up their own laboratories or other infrastructures, so they have to concentrate on technology. So they have to buy technologies for teaching, learning, and data collection portals. So they have to invest money on that also. And then data analytics also. So they have to analyze the capabilities. They have to have a proper application to analyze the capabilities of the students, so that based on their analysis, because this analysis can able to bring out the accurate outcome. From that, they can able to improve their skill set of the student.
Right. Perfect.
Similarly for staff also, staff members also. Thank you, sir.
Perfect. Mr. Sharma, coming to you with your thoughts.
Yeah, I was just thinking that like students, what do they do in the evenings or whenever they have got spare time? They are looking at some opportunities. Some of them wanted to become IAS, some of them wanted to become lawyer and all that, depending on the scheme in which they're working. So what we have done is we have brought this thing to the college itself. I have got a Saveetha IAS Academy, I have got a Saveetha Law Firm, I have got a Saveetha Industry in the institute itself where we are giving training. So whenever they want to have industrial experience, we just ask them to walk into the Saveetha Industry. Similarly, Saveetha Law Firm, which is a firm wherein we are, our students are giving advice at a very cheap rate to the downtrodden society in case they are in some litigation. They will give them advice at a very nominal cost. So in that way, it's like part-time job opportunity in which they are polishing their career also. So it is like learning while you are learning. That is what we are brought this concept. Thank you.
Great. Dr. Rao, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think we have to invest quite heavily on the technology part of it in making the students not to miss the campus experience. I think if we ignore that part of it, that in the online learning, we must put in a special effort of delivering the same benefits, at least some of the benefits that are what occurred during the campus life.
Right.
I think that is one very important point, and that requires a good communication infrastructure.
Perfect.
I think good.
Really sorry, I'm short on time. I'm so sorry to be rushing through this. Mr. Suresh and then Mr. Ramanathan, your final points.
This is quite interesting to say. Now IoT is the one which is there. Now I have already planned to introduce the concept of teaching using IoT. It's not teaching IoT directly, rather imbibing IoT on teaching in such a way that tomorrow E becomes very well employable to any industry for the matter. That's it. Thank you.
Right. Thanks. And Mr. Ramanathan, yes, last word from you.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think we focused a lot on higher education. If I were to close it, I would say the whole NEP 2020 and the concepts embedded in that new education policy should be taken down to the high school and even before that. We spent about an hour and a half trying to fix what's broken.
Right.
So to extend it for the next decade, which I believe is the idea of this whole discussion, we should be looking at fixing what's broken, but rather go and fix it where it should be fixed. And that's where we all need to focus as citizens of India.
Brilliant. Well, I think very well put. And thank you so much for joining us on this Thoughtful Tuesday. These 9 months have been about looking at and pondering on things. And I think we have had a great discussion. And thank you for joining us today. And hopefully we'll see you soon. Once again, thanks from Businessworld and BW Education.